كره إلي فيه الفسوق والعصيان وحرم علي فيه السخط والنيران بعونك يا غياث المستغيثين.
अबू, आज के दिन नेकी को मेरे लिए पसंदीदा बना दे, इसमें गुनाह और नाफरमानी को मेरे लिए नापसंदीदा बना दे, और इसमें ग़ैज़ व ग़ज़ब को मुझ पर हराम कर दे अपनी हिमायत के साथ, ए फरियादियों के फरियाद रस।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन, वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला सय्यदना व नबियना हबीब इलाहि रब्बिल आलमीन अबिल क़ासिम अल मुस्तफ़ा मुहम्मद व आलिहि तय्यबीन अत्ताहिरीन अल मासूमीन अल मज़लूमीन। अम्मा बाद, अल्लाहुम्मा हब्बिब इलैया फ़ीहिल इहसान व कर्रिह इलैया फ़ीहिल फ़ुसूक़ वल इस्यान व हर्रिम अलैया फ़ीहि सख़त वन नैरान बिऔनिका या ग़ियाथल मुस्तग़ीथीन। Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the daily supplications of the month of Ramadan. On the 11th day of the month of Ramadan, we seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for three things. Number one, we ask for an opportunity be given to us that we love goodness. Allahumma habbib, loving, ilayya fihi al-ihsan, the goodness and ihsan. This is something that we really need to. Allah put us in our heart, put that in our heart, that we love ihsan, because it's quite important, and we'll find out why. And we ask that Allah keep us far away from fusuq wal isyan, from corruption and isyan, sins. And then وَحَرِّمْ عَلَيَّ فِيهِ السَّخَطِ وَالنَّيْرَانِ بِأَوْنِكَ يَا غِيَاثَ الْمُسْتَغِيثِينَ. And we also ask that God protect us from Nairan, which is the hellfire, from His anger and from the hellfire, by your help of those who seek help. Ya Ghiyath al-Mustaghithin. Now, first of all, in regards to ihsan. Ihsan is an act of self-sacrifice. Is when a person goes an extra mile to do good. That's why, in the verses we say that وَأَحْسَنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Allah loves those who does ihsan, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He Himself have done ihsan, and He loves that those who does ihsan, which is His act, the act that God have done, the act of great goodness. In ahsantum li'anfusikum wa in asa'tum falaha. A person who does ihsan, goodness to his nafs, it has done. When a person have done goodness, he has done goodness to his nafs itself. When I do something good, charity, prayers, advising people, taking care of a needy or a poor or an orphan, it's a good act. Now, this good act that I have done, actually this good act, I have done it to myself. Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, when he used to give to the poor, he would kiss the hand of the poor before giving to the poor. This points out, and he would say that when I give, this goes in the hand of God first, and then it goes in the hand of the needy one. So first it goes in the hands of God. So when my act of goodness first goes to God, obviously there's a return from God, right? I remember Ayatollah Jawadi Amali, one of the great scholars and marajas of our time today, student of Allama Tabatabai and Imam Khomeini, when he used to, because we have in Qom graduation, when the students are graduated, they are giving the turban. They prepare the turban, and it's put in a tray, and people line up, with their abba khaba and everything. And Agha Jawadi he sits on the mimbar, on the pulpit, and then he takes this, amama, the turban, and he puts it on it, and then he goes. And the next person comes, he puts it and he goes. So whenever he was doing that, he was kissing his hand first, and then taking the amama and putting on top of the scholar who was graduating. This is pointing out to the respect that he is giving to his hand, that it is a barakah that he is getting by carrying out this graduation. This great scholars who are graduating, who's been given the amamas, and he's kissing his hand, showing that it is respect to his hand. He's been given the opportunity to do such an act, perhaps. So a good act is actually, it goes into the hands of God first. Inna rahmatallah qareebun min al-muhsinin. The mercy is closer to those who are muhsinin, those people who do good. Wa ahsan kama ahsan Allahu alayk. Do ihsan the same way how ahsan Allah, the way Allah have done ihsan to you. Do good the same way God have done good to you. If a person does that, how lovely the society would be. If person follows these teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, of Islam, how lovely it will be. The teachings of the Quran. It says, wa ahsana kama ahsan Allahu ilayk. Surah Qasas, verse number 77. Do ihsan to others the way God have done ihsan to you. Now, in regards to certain riwayat, we talked about the ayat of the Quran. These were the ayahs of the Quran that we discussed. وَأَحْسَنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ is an ayah. إِنَّ رَحْمَةَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ is an ayah. إِنْ أَحْسَنْتُمْ أَحْسَنْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ وَإِنْ أَسَأْتُمْ فَلَهَا is an ayah of the Quran. Now, riwayat. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam mentions from his father in regards to this riwayat that says, سَأَلَ الرَّسُولُ اللَّهِ مَنْ أَحَبَّ النَّاسَ إِلَيَّ. Prophet was asked that who is the most lovable in the eyes of God? وَأَنْفَعَ النَّاسِ لِلنَّاسِ. Then Prophet replied, قال, the one who is the more beneficial to other human beings is the best in the eyes of God. Providing benefit. He says, أَنْفَعُ النَّاسَ لِلنَّاسِ. He didn't say أَنْفَعُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ min an-nas. No, he said anfa'u nasa lin-nas. The most beneficial one is one who provides benefit to other human beings. That is considered to be the best one. Amirul Mu'mineen says, Na'mu zadul ma'ad al-ihsanu ila al-ibad. The greatest of ni'mat, ni'mu zad, the best of zad, the best of commodity, the best something that you could take, zad. Ul ma'ad, for the hereafter, is al-ihsanu ila al-ibad. Doing ihsan to the ibad, to the people, to the servants of God. Bil ihsan tumlikul qulub. It is through ihsan that the hearts becomes owners. When you does ihsan, you will become the malik of that heart. When a person does ihsan, he is the malik of, he becomes malik in the other people's hearts. Now, we also ask today, Allahumma habbib ilayha fihi al-ihsan. We ask this love of ihsan be placed in our heart. There's a very powerful ayah in Surah Hujurat, which I'll mention in the end. After wakarrih, and do karahat, doesn't like, ilayya fiha al-fusuq wal isyan. And we ask that we hate and do not like, we abhor isyan, sins, and also we abhor fisq. There's a difference between isyan and fisq. Isyan is against obedience. doing something against, not obeying, is isyan. For example, if my father says that, give me a glass of water, if I don't listen to the command of my father, that is isyan, that is a sin. For example, in Arabic, isyan means that I don't listen to the command, I don't obey my father, not being obedience, not carrying out the act, not being obedience is isyan, is sin. But fisq is where a person where a son not only does not give the water to the father, but behave in a very bad way, say few things which is very disrespectful to the father. This is fisq. So that is more worse. That is bad. Fisq or fujur, for example, they say. And if one wants to do a research, these are the things that we should really look into. What's the difference? How many times word fasiq and fisq is used in the Quran? What are the punishments of those who are fasiq compared to those who are, ma'asi, those who have committed sins? There are differences, different types of azab there, right? So we ask today that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do not make us from make this sort of fisq and isyan, we abhor it, we don't like it. And you could see that, when you kind of analyze, there are certain sins which you abhor it, you don't like it at all. If you hear about it, your halat changes, you feel very bad. How can that be possible? That, for example, you could burn the bride for not giving the dowry in places, in certain countries, for example. Doing zulm, how can it be possible that the husband could beat his wife, for example? That is isyan. There's abhorrence in the heart. How can that they do this, ugly act, for example? This is isyan. Taking life of people, those who are innocent, done nothing. This is hating. One should really hate that. All of these things that are carried out in the name of Islam, unfortunately, these terrorists who are killing innocent people and claim themselves to be, of having an Islamic state and carrying out Islamic sort of rulings, one abhors that. This is not Islam. One hates that. One gets really upset and annoyed, So this is something natural in the heart. One hates this. However, there are darajat and levels of it. There are certain things, one might, not hate it, abhor it, doesn't like it, in his heart. Sometimes the feeling is not that bad. Oh, let's gossip, And people enjoy gossip. Backbiting, sits and talk for hours and hours. I have nothing. Oh, it's pastime, for example. Or there is not hate in the heart. But let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. If you are aware of it, that it is like eating dead flesh, and it is is gunai kabire, to backbite, and you do that for 1 hour or 2 hours, or you do the same thing another day, and eventually you will have karahat, you will hate it. I'm not asking you to do it, but I'm saying that you will feel that way. If you repeat committing a sin and knowing that it's a sin, there will be karahat in one's heart. So we are asking today that let that be karahat, abhorrence to the act which are fusuq, which are isyan, which are sins, which are disobedience to yours. And O Allah, harrim alayya fihi saqate wa nayran bi'awnika, with your help and assistance. Make me far away from the hellfire. Make it haram for me, the hellfire, nayran. And by your help, ya ghiyath al-mustaghithin. There's a verse in the Quran which talks about, I remember mentioned that. Now this this, a person who kind of effect of the Nairan, enters in Nairan, is yudkhilun nar khalidina fiha. Those who love committing sins and those who commit sin, they will enter hellfire and they will be there forever. Now, in regards to the verse which I mentioned in Surah Hujurat, there's a verse which talks about, it says that, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the verse goes this way, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ حَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ. It is Allah who have made حَبَّبَ, lovable, the Iman. It is Allah who has endeared to you the faith. He has made that. وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. And He has made that very zinat, pleasing, beautiful for your heart. It is God who places that. Allah is the one, is the guide. Allah places this love. So we have to ask Allah. Today we ask. This is the verse of the Quran. Today we ask that Allah make Iman lovable, good acts lovable in our heart, and make us hate those acts which are, sins and bad. If we hate them, if we do not like them, if we are displeased with them, obviously we will not go close to them. So there have to be some sort of displeasure of that act. Who is pleased to drink a drink which is bitter and no good? Nobody likes that. So there's an abhorrence in the heart first, which will not allow us. It's like a coating, it's like a protection. It is very important, very, very, very psychological way. Imam is pointing out to teaching us, right? We should hate it we should be displeased with it. وَزَيَّنُهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. And it is Allah who have made this so unique and beautiful to the heart, and has made hateful to you disbelief, something that you are displeased with. وَكَرَّهَ إِلَيْكُمَ الْكُفْرَ. He has made kufr something that you doesn't like. وَالْفُسُوقَ وَالْإِسْيَانَ. And also the fisq, which means that the defiance and the disobedience. He has made it displeasing to your heart. Who are these people? أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الرَّاشِدُونَ. These people are the one who are rightly guided. Rashidun. These are the Rashidun, the rightly guided people. So we ask today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and aid us to really, love goodness, be displeased with fisq and isyan and kufr, and also, we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the hellfire haram for us. Khallisna minan nare ya Rab. Every day we recite in the dua, بِفِكَاكِ رَقِبَتِي مِنَ النَّارِ, that we be saved from the hellfire. On the 11th night, a person who recites 2 rakat of prayer, in every rakah he recite 1 hamd and 20 times Inna Ataynaka al-Kawthar. His sins will not reach him, even if shaitan tries for it. We ask that, what shall we do that there be no waswas of shaitan? Well, for us who wants to be protected from the waswas of shaitan, on the 11th night, he would recite 2 rakah prayer. It's a very short one. In every rakah, he recites hamd and 20 times to Surah Kawthar, Inna Ataynaka al-Kawthar. And when he does that, he will be protected from shaitan forcing him to commit a sin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all and forgive us all and relieve and release us from the hellfire, and our destiny be Jannah and the neighborhood of the Prophet and the nearness to the awliya. غفر الله لنا ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.